guys, Cody from Southeast Softwash and the Skunk Wash Works. Today is a very special day. We are bringing you the long form video of the super pump. So last week at the convention up in Nashville, we released the super pump, but all I put out was a piece of B-roll of footage of the pump running and just kind of some general numbers on the screen. Today I'm going to try to keep this video short, but also go into some detail as far as what is the super pump, the numbers it's hitting, and what you guys can expect as far as when these are going to be available and out the door. Hint, hint, we are taking pre-orders now because these are going to fly off the shelves. I'm 100% convinced that this is going to be the long-term pumping solution for the Softwash industry because we're hitting all the metrics and none of the negatives. So let's get into it real quick. What is a super pump? Well, in the past 5 or 6 years, we've noticed a big trend in guys wanting a upper echelon of performance, and they would go after any kind of system to get those numbers at the behest of any maintenance common sense or upfront cost that, you know, probably know better than to buy these certain pumping systems, but we're getting them anyway because we're looking for the performance metrics. So what we wanted to do was design something that stayed in the electric wheelhouse. I'm a big believer in electric systems. They got a lot of advantages. They're quiet, they're easy to swap in and out. If you have a failure, you can just take the pump off, put a new one on. No gas, no oil changes, no real maintenance intervals on these things. You can work a little earlier in the morning, a little later in the day because you're not bothering the neighbors with a gas engine. There's just a lot of things that have good benefits about an electric-based system overall, which is why we've always used a 12-volt. We've always put our chemical on with a 12-volt system, and we will still offer 12-volt systems on our mini skids. We've got some mini skids behind us here. And then we're rinsing with our pressure washer. Now we've got the ability with our electric system here, our Softwash super pump, to apply chem and rinse with the same pump because it's now got the capability to knock down dirt. We're running 16 gallons a minute, guys, and about 175 PSI. Now the PSI can change depending on what kind of tips and guns you use. This pump will run the red gun that a lot of guys really love. I'm a big fan of just the Softwash wand. I think I've got one here in the back of the truck. Yeah, there's a Softwash wand. Now it's a 3/4 barb here. This is like the old school one. I like this. It actually shoots a little further with this. With this setup, the plumbing we have here, 1-inch feed to the pump, 3/4 inch outbound side. With one of these, we're getting about 75, 77 feet, which is crazy land, absolutely crazy numbers. 16 gallons a minute on the super pump. Some of you guys are not going to even believe that that's real, but I promise you it is real life. So when we decided to design this, it is a from the ground up design. It may look similar to a Northern Tool system, which we've used those for a while. Those pumps, when we got our hands on those about 2.5 years ago, I said, hey, they're onto something here. But they had some gremlins. They had the motor shield thing. I'm not a fan of that. Too finicky. The clips on the side where your engagement points are, very, very crappy engagement. Just lots of gremlins, but the concept was pretty solid. So if we could redesign the Northern Tool pump and at the same time, hey, if we're gonna design one, let's design one from scratch and increase the numbers, blow the metrics out of the water, and that's what we've got here. So we're gonna start from the bottom up. This is a little display we've got up front in the office so guys can play with the pump, so we'll jog it here. It's pretty impressive. We've got a battery bank in here. Very, very impressive on the pump running side. It's a beast. We started all the way down here at the base plate. This is a stainless steel mounting plate that we're gonna have on the pumps. Stainless steel, it's the only way to go in our industry. Now this pump is gonna go to a bunch of industries, but that stainless steel base plate is gonna be a big help for bleach. You know, we're always working with bleach and chemicals and stuff, so not crappy cheap metal, stainless steel from there. Little rubber feet for it to set on to absorb some vibration and things like that. But an electric pump really doesn't create a lot of vibration. I've only got 2 bolts holding it down. There's no bolts on the back because I kind of like it to jump a little bit. It kind of scares people in the shop. Coming up from the base plate, we've got our motor. Now this is a custom motor. 20 months ago when we started this project, the first avenue is, hey, see if there's an existing motor out there that we can use, and that's going to save us a lot of money in R&D. And unfortunately, but now kind of fortunately, there was not a motor out there that would put the RPMs and have the torque capabilities that we needed for the final output that we were trying to get. So we've got a custom made motor here for the super pump. It's a dual shaft, and we're running basically 2 heads on each side. Let's talk about the actual pump heads themselves. Come in here a little bit closer to let the guys see. So 3/4 inlet, 3/4 outlet. Now they're an X pattern because we're just flip-flopping these things. So the plumbing goes kind of here to here and here down to here. Your inlet's going to be this one and this one. Your outlet is these 2 here. So what we're doing here on the plumbing, we've got one on the work truck behind us, another pump up there running. We've got a 1-inch feed coming into a T, and then we're feeding it from the T, 1 inch. We branch off of there 3/4 to both of the 3/4 inlets. The outbound side is 3/4 all the way here to the hose reel swivel. We're running a real big deal, which is a 3/4 inch internal manifold, 3/4 inch plumbing all the way out. That's what we have found in the testing phase of this that it likes. It wants to be fed with a 1-inch supply and outbound a 3/4 inch supply on the discharge side. With that setup, the numbers are pretty impressive. So you could run a 5/8 on the hose. We're not going to recommend that. 3/4 is what it likes on the discharge side. And again, you got some options on wands and things like that. It'll run a bunch of different stuff. Pick your poison. Okay, the heads here are a complete proprietary design. We did not just grab a head off a pump and slap one on. This is a complete redesign for this project, and it's pretty special. So all the inlets here are bored out, overbored. Here's your standard. Come in here close and look. This is from a different pumping system. Now, we've got a big hole here, okay, and we've got our quick connect barb. I want you to see this is not big enough, okay? We bored this hole out, big flow, bunch of water. This thing wants to eat, so we have a maximum chamber in here. The biggest we can get it, we're gonna give it as much liquid as possible. Another thing, this is not ours. Ours are custom. This is pretty standard. We've got 1 O-ring, and you know, it's about as wide as your finger here, probably my ring finger, whatever that is, close to 1/2 inch, that it goes into the housing and locks in. I don't have a loose one to show you guys, but ours is about that much longer again, so it's way out here, and we've got 2 O-rings, which means when we put our barb in here, it's penetrating into the housing way back here. That's going to prevent a lot of side play to play this way from the force of the pump running. It's going to try to flex that. We're eliminating that with a longer engagement surface and 2 O-rings, double O-ring sealed, trying to prevent the possibility here. The engineering concept is, let's get rid of any potential leaks, okay? We like quick connects. It would have been easier for us to just NPT tap this thing and get it out the door. Just this alone took a lot of time and money to get this right, because these sliding tabs are custom as well. I've had pumps before in the past that the sliding tabs were really weak and you just kind of hope they held. Some of the pumps have tabs that come over like this. Absolute crap. We don't like those. We have to usually glue those down to keep them from vibrating loose. Ours on the super pump, when you put ours in there, not this one, but the one that we provide, if you want to take it off, you pretty much have got to come in here with a screwdriver and pop it like that, which is how I wanted it to be. I wanted you to be able to stick that plumbing in, force it in, and click it into place really tight so that you've got a confidence level here that the pump's not going to find a leak. This thing's putting out so much power, it's going to try to find a leak. If we got a weak point somewhere, it'll find it. So double O-ring sealed, double the engagement on the quick connects. All that's never been done, proprietary stuff. Little change, not a huge change, but it's a big deal out in the field, because if you get a leak, you're spraying bleach all over the back of your truck, and we don't want that to happen, okay? 24-volt power supply. We're running ours on a lithium battery bank here on the work truck. That's what we're gonna recommend. You can run it on standard AGM batteries, wired up in series, you know, marine grade batteries. It'll run this just fine. I'm gonna recommend you guys to spring for a lithium kit, because these have an 11-year warranty. So I want you to think about this. With a super pump and a battery bank like this, your power supply, now if you're running a gas powered system, that would be gasoline, right? Oil changes, air filters, all that stuff. You don't have to touch your power supply for a decade, at least a decade. That's pretty crazy, guys. We're not, the only thing we're going to the gas station for now is monster rehabs and gummy bears. That's it. We're gonna run this truck basically hands-free on the power supply. All we gotta do at the end of the day is come home, plug up our charger to a regular extension cord, and recharge the system. Now, if you wanna be bougie, I like being bougie, I'm probably gonna slap a solar panel up here just for extra juice going to the system throughout the day. It's not needed if you're running lithiums. Plenty of amp hours here on the power supply. So very cool. I love it. It stays in my wheelhouse of an electric-based system. Super pump is a beast, guys. It's putting out 16 gallons a minute, but a lot of times you don't want 16 gallons a minute. If you're up on a front porch or in a small enclosed area, you don't want to be spraying bleach at 16 gallons a minute. You're going to make a mess, get it all over you and all over stuff you don't want bleach on. This is a variable speed pump, okay? So what that means is on the back of the truck back here, we've got a prototype box that's going to get shrunk down and it'll be mountable on the pump. So what that means is you can control from about 7 gallons a minute on the low side, about 10 or 11-ish gallons a minute on the medium setting, and then wide open would be sweet 16 for rinsing. Or let's say you're doing a church steeple and you need to get Kim up that high, crank the pump up, do your thing, and then you can rinse. You got options, you got play around ability. You can move your Kim around, you can play with the pump speed. I like having options. And now we're able to rinse at 16 gallons a minute and all the PSI that you'd ever need for rinsing. I'll throw in some B-roll here of you guys so you guys can see us running it out in the field. It's pretty impressive. All right, hope that B-roll, shows it's hard to get it on camera. We're blasting stuff down here in the shop. I had a class in here yesterday. We had about 13 guys. I let them rinse with a ball valve on the 8 gallon a minute here on this truck, Honda 8 gallon pressure washer, ball valve rinsing. We all most of us know what that feels like. Everybody in the class agreed that rinsing with the super pump was actually a lot better. It's more of a concentrated beam, just a cannon of water coming out the end of the wand. Again, I prefer the Softwash wand. Longevity, how long is this pump gonna last? Well, we have done a test. It's actually still running. We're close to 1 million gallons of water through the super pump, just cycling back to a water tank. Now, I've had a bunch of guys on the previous video asking, are you guys gonna warranty this pump? How long is the pump gonna last? I knew that was a question we were gonna get from day one because a lot of guys y'all are broke as hell. You ain't got no money and you wanna buy something one time and let the company keep you running for the rest of your life. Here's the gospel truth, and I'm gonna be daddy for a minute. If you take care of your pump, this should last you, we're gonna say about a full wash season, which is a year, okay? That's not a guarantee, that's not a warranty, because I can't come out to your truck and make sure you're doing everything right. If you don't charge your batteries, you're gonna have low voltage on your batteries, you forget to charge them, you run them low, that's gonna create amp draw on the pump, which is bad for the motor. If you put the wrong tips in your gun, which is very easy for a technician to do, if they're not concerned about doing it right, you're gonna choke the pump down, and that can destroy your pump way ahead of schedule. If you don't rinse the bleach out of the pump, that can ruin the pump pretty quickly, like very quickly. So there's not a pump company in the game that gives a warranty on Softwash pumps. There may be one or two out there, but the 90% of the pump companies, you go read their stuff and they will not guarantee these after bleach is run through them, just because they know what I know and what you guys know as well, is people will destroy these things and want me to keep sending them free pumps out the door for life. So no, you're not gonna get a warranty with it. However, we will tell you, if you take care of the thing, it should last you a year, and swap it out, put it up. Now, you may get longer than that. I can't tell you how long you're gonna get out of the pump. There's no way for me to know how long your tires are gonna last on your truck if you're out there cutting donuts in the parking lot at night trying to impress the girls, okay? So super pumps, a lot of performance, a lot of longevity. We know this is a rock solid platform, but we are gonna sweeten the deal for you guys a little bit. We have decided, a lot of debating, we are gonna offer a pump rebuild kit for the super pump. So these are gonna be about $19.97, so right at the $2,000 mark, which is expensive, we know, but you're paying for the performance, and it's actually cheaper in the long run versus a gas system because you don't have to buy fuel, oil changes, none of that stuff. It's coming out to about $5.60 a day to run the super pump. That's provided the fact that you buy one pump, and one time throughout the year you change the head kit out and you rebuild the pump one time. It's gonna cost you less than $6 a day to run that pump for a year. So that's an awesome deal. Very simple to change the head kits out. These will be available in the future. You're just going to replace both heads at the same time. Let's say you have a failure on one side or the other, buy the head kit, slap them on. Not exactly sure how much the head kit's going to cost. We'll update the website as we kind of figured those numbers out. We know what this is going to be. We're also not exactly sure how much the motor controller is going to cost, but as we get those numbers dialed in, they'll be available as separate items. Okay, so if you get in on the pre-order, link down below, pre-order sale down below, you're just pre-ordering the pump, okay? By the time we start fulfilling these early 2023, Q1, somewhere in 2023, first of the year, don't call me January the 2nd. Say, hey, it's the first of the year, where's my pump? We're not exactly sure when we're gonna get these out the door, but we're pretty confident it'll be in Q1 sometime early 2024. This is 2023. The head kits will be on there as well, and the motor controller will be on there as well. And those will be add-on items that you can buy. You don't need to buy a head kit right off the bat or a motor controller. You can run it just like this. And if you want to get those things later on, they will be available on the site. So very affordable, long-term pumping solution. It's got all the power in the world, up to 16 gallons a minute, 24-volt system, variable speed. All that stuff is pretty insane, guys. I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. We're getting 75 feet here in the shop. Our shop's 80 foot. I put my back against the door and I'm hitting 5 foot from the other door. Pretty crazy numbers. About 5 to 6 stories this way vertical, which is wild, super crazy. We're very proud of this. Took a lot of research and development, a lot of work on our end. Custom motor, custom heads. This is a very affordable package to get you guys able to spray at the numbers you're looking for without all the hassle of a gas-powered rig, air diaphragm rigs. You can make any of them work. This is the best of everything. Hope you guys will take advantage of the pre-sale. We only got about 100 pumps coming on the first delivery. We've got some prototypes out in the field running right now, getting feedback, making sure everything's good to go on those. But yep, it's an awesome system, guys. We're excited to bring it to you. The Skunk Washworks team and Southeast Softwash knocking them out of the park again. We'll see you guys in the next video.